Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. It's 6 a.m., June 24th. I'm going to do a quick Bitcoin and crypto analysis. It looks like overnight we kind of sold off, and this was pretty much something that I was expecting. I think yesterday in my analysis, I kind of wrote out that the failure to break out of this wedge is probably going to mean that we might make it to the downside of the bottom of the wedge or possibly break down. Okay, there's numerous reasons why I stated why in yesterday's video, but let's watch my video from yesterday in a 10-second clip. All right, so that, as you can see, we pretty much tried to pierce past the wedge but got strongly rejected. More often than not, in my experience, when you can't break up past this wedge strongly with high volume and you get a little fake out like this, you have a deviation to the upside like this. Okay, like that, and then you come kind of crashing down and start breaking down even past the bottom ascending trend line. Let's see if I can show you guys an example. So this was what happened in the ES, which is the S&P 500 E-mini futures. All right, so again, these are things that I watch out for in markets, folks. And while most people trade on emotions and they react after the price has already moved, I am trying to think one step ahead and trying to think, okay, well, price has made this move. Now what? Has it done anything significant? Has it broken past any key levels, any key metrics that I've been looking at? And if that's not the case, then I'm either going to remain short or I'm going to add on to my short, right? So I let Advantage members know that this area I wasn't overly concerned with. And if they wanted to short right here, they totally could. So again, though I can't provide financial advice, I personally thought that this was a good short. I'm still averaged into my short somewhere around, what is it, 90, where the heck is it? 96.40 or so. So, that short's been going all right so far. I haven't been quite concerned about my short for several days or several weeks now, because I think for the most part, what I'm seeing in large part, if we're looking at this from a broader perspective like this, what I started noticing is, and I started noticing this like a couple days ago, that this could be a larger distribution schematic that's at play, right? So this is your point of supply, your buying climax up here, which is this one up here, and then you have your automatic rally, ST, up thrust right there, UTAD. So this would be your up thrust right here. UTAD would be your up thrust after distribution. So that's up here. And then this is your last point of supply and last point of supply. And then once you start breaking the bottom of the range, which should be, again, way the heck down here, then we have definitely confirmed that we are in a larger distribution schematic. But until then, we might actually be somewhere over here in the LPSY stage. Again, when it comes to schematics like this, life in trading, especially complicated markets like Bitcoin, are never this simple, right? You can't draw a bunch of lines and expect the price action to play out perfectly. But in large part, more often than not, what I've seen is if the distribution is truly happening as per these schematics, it's pretty spot on, right? It's pretty spot on in terms of how the price is actually moving as per the schematic. Obviously, it won't be as perfect as this, but the price makes it pretty clear that, hey, I am in a distribution mode. And I've said this over and over again that I believe when you start seeing volume come in right at the tops right here for supply volume, this is indicative of distribution, right? So even over here, we see the volume pick up a little bit right there. Okay, I think it's a little bit more visible on the BitMEX chart right there, so you can see the volume pick up, right? The other thing about this is, let me get some water real quick. The other thing about this is, you see bigger candle spreads right there and expanding volume, right? This is also indicative of impulsive movements on the way down as the sell side volume picks up. And when it comes to distribution, the one thing that you want to pay attention to is when you're distributing in here, right? You want to see, first of all, volume come in at the tops in terms of supply, and then the demand to push it back up, you want it to be kind of weak and dismal, okay? And I think that's quite evident. I think look at the high volume right there, high volume right there, high volume, again, high volume, right? And we pretty much tapered off our demand volume over here. After this surge, we haven't quite seen anything since except big spikes of selling, 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 and selling, right? So if we're in this distribution mode, we should be exiting with a more violent nature when it comes to these LPSYs, these last point of supplies, okay? And then once you start breaking the bottom of the range, which is way the heck down here around, let's just say $8,400, $8,300, that's where you have your show of weakness and then sell off, all right? So I'm still in the mode of thinking that, this is in large part distribution. I really have not laid out the schematic on top of this until yesterday, but it became more and more clear as we were doing this UTAD right here. This could have been your last point of supply right here. This is your other last point of supply. And then you should start seeing a sell-off, okay? Let's see here. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about? We should start seeing, the COT data should be updated Friday, so that's not going to be useful for us. We've spoken about this chart right here, right? So this hash ribbons capitulation stuff right here, right? So for the most part, I'm expecting this thing to kind of keep impacting price to the sell side. But again, sometimes these indicators are a bit lagging or a bit leading. It's hard to tell exactly, how price is working according to this indicator. But for now, I still think it's in its, minor capitulation mode. And so that would imply that maybe, more and more miners are potentially selling. All right. Let me see here. Here's the daily, right? So pretty ugly looking daily. It's basically covered. It's basically covered the entire base and the push up that we had with this one daily candle. And so I've stated before that if we actually start closing way the heck down here, like say below this low or below this opening candle close right here around 92.50, let's just say, I'd probably say for the most part, all right, we might start pushing to the bottom of the range then. Okay, but until then, this is still just ranging, and we've been ranging for a while. It's been like a good month and a half now. The thing about ranging is that whether you break up or down from it, the violence of the breakout and the reach or the destination of the breakout is just as extensive. So that means that, if we break out to the upside, it's going to be quite violent and it's going to take us quite a bit higher. If we break to the downside, it's going to be violent and it's going to, probably push way the heck at least into the 5 or the 4,000s, which is, again, my minimum target is about at least 6,900, but some of my more deeper targets are, things like $5,800, $5,900, way the heck down here around $4,300, $4,400, and then $2,400 and $1,500. But I don't want to talk about those yet. I think as long as we're inside and above this range right here, this movement that we had to the upside, it's possible things on the way down are support. They're not extensive and strong support, but they're support nonetheless. Let me see here. Let's check out trading light, right? So yesterday I was talking about, how there was some pressure on the order books from the upside as well as sell walls up here, but there were also decent buys set out. Now, I don't really know if all these buys got filled, but let's check that out, right? So as price kind of bled through this, see, here's the thing, okay? When you see buyers step in, right? So for example, these big five, 4, $3 million walls, $7 million walls. When you see those buyers still keep their walls up, and then you see price actually bleed through that, I'd say that's actually pretty bearish, because what that implies is that supply was actually much stronger, and even with those big buy walls, price still bled through. When the books are evaporated and you see big, you know, void in a black space like this, well, that means there's not that many buyers, you know? So yeah, you would expect just a torpedo down. But the most pain is felt when you have like these big lit up walls and price actually bleeds through that. Because what happens? Well, all these buyers actually bought, and the lower and lower price pushes, the lower and lower and the deeper they are in water. And so they also have their pain point, right? So if you are, absorbing buy orders, or sorry, if you're absorbing sell orders with your buys, all through this move down, and price keeps pushing down, well, at some point you're going to have either stop, you're going to have, a risk management standpoint, you're going to want to cut down your position, or you're going to want to liquidate or close your position. And so what happens is all these people who bought right here, because they're underwater, they're going to want to sell as the price keeps bleeding down. And so that kind of creates a cascading effect of, okay, well, supply was already going to sell, right? People who are shorting or selling. And now these buyers who bought in this area, as price bleeds down, they're going to say, screw it, I'm throwing in the towel. And then boom, you get a big sharp drop after that. Because these guys right here were thinking from here price was going to go up. It actually went in the opposite direction. And so then they help fuel the movement down. Let me see here. So the S&P 500 futures market, it's still in a large range. I wouldn't quite say that's definitely bearish, because this is kind of the range that we've kind of developed so far. I'd probably say, let's move this up a little bit. I'd probably say this is the range that we're developing. If we start breaking to the downside from here, I probably figure we're going to go down here to about 29.60, 29.75. Break up to the upside, I'd at least expect, $3,200 point target. But for now, I think we're ranging. I think we're ranging because of all this coronavirus news that's coming out in Texas, Florida, South Carolina, Arizona. All these different states are seeing massive spikes in cases. Some of my friends in Texas who are doctors, some of my friends who are doctors in Florida, they're actually seeing, a resurgence of the virus, like pretty much that they haven't even seen before. They're seeing ICU bed capacity filled up to 85%. They're now seeing patients who are exuding different symptoms that they're not able to catch in the same manner that they did in March. Because in March, you could know, all right, well, if you have a dry cough and, weakness and whatnot, shortness of breath, yeah, it's probably coronavirus. But now people are kind of neglecting the virus itself, and they're literally coming to the point of going to the hospital and requiring ventilators, because they can't breathe. So it's that bad. Anyway, I don't want to discuss coronavirus too much, but I just figured I'd mention that, and I probably figured that the markets are kind of ranging, because the markets are probably trying to figure out, wait a second, is this thing something that we can contain, or is it like totally out of control, and do we have to have, a sell-off like March where, businesses are going to shut down again, where we might have to go into lockdown mode or what? So I think that's where the markets are kind of ranging, because right around this time right here, or even last week, I think the coronavirus cases were just starting to surge back up. So the market is always a good indicator of understanding what is, it's like a litmus test of what's happening in politics, what's happening, the larger sentiment of the consumer. Let's see. So we did see a big, a spike down in RSI, which again makes sense. We're quite a ways away from the oversold territory in the RSI for the 4-hour time frame. So this is what I mean, right? Like if volume is picking up on the 4-hour, and we see candle spreads getting bigger, if this support right here breaks and that support is like 92.50, I probably figure we're going to take out this low too. So we're probably going to head to at least $8,700 or so. And that puts us probably in that oversold territory. You can even see on the on-balance volume. I mean, this is something that I've been talking about for weeks, guys. I've been talking about just follow the money, right? I mean, you can look at the inflows right here. This is shit inflows. Like this is people saying that, hey, I don't want to touch this. I don't want to touch this. I don't want to touch this all the way down. So when people keep saying they're bullish up here, well, where are the signs, right? I mean, where's the money? Where's the momentum? And where's the demand? It's not there, okay? So, I've been very cautious to kind of let people know that, like, all right, guys, if you're bullish, just be careful. But now I think I've come to a point where I'm like, I think if you're bullish right now, I mean, you either have a crystal ball that most of us don't, or you're trading off hope, and trading off hope never works. All right. So let's see here. By the way, we still do have our our 2-day trial, right? If y'all want to come join, just join our free Discord. The link is below, and just write trial right here, and I'll give you full access to our entire community. I just wanted to be sort of a good Samaritan and give people the opportunity and access to all the information that we have, because to be honest, we have some amazing information, amazing minds in our community, where we discuss all kinds of information, from crypto to equities to forex to options. And I want people to see how hard we work in our community, to show y'all the kind of results that we deliver, the kind of trades that we take, the kind of information that we put out. So anyway, come join. The free Discord link is below. Hit the thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. I know you guys watch our free content quite a bit, but it always helps when you show your gratitude, not only to our community, but the other mods and analysts and writers that we have working for us. It shows that you truly appreciate their work and our work as a whole. All right. Thank you all so much. Hope you come join the free 2-day trial. Until then, take care. Cheers.